because I don't want you to go into something that your body's not ready for. Now, let's take it back a little bit further this time and then bring it up. So now can you take it back without your hands, and can you pause here and then bring it back up? So begin to experiment. How far back can you go? Notice my feet are still connected to the floor here, and then bring it forward. Once your legs, I want, if your toes are starting to lift or your feet are starting to lift off the mat, I want you to stay where you were before. So connect your feet to the floor and then bring it up. Let's take it back 2 more times in this variation. And then I'm going to actually turn and face the camera a little bit more so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Now from here, I want you to allow your feet to stay grounded. So take your feet and flex them, pulling your toes back at attention. This time, cross your arms. And we're going to go, this is called hinge back. So again, think about a door opening and closing here as you take it back and bring it forward. Keep going. Make sure you're breathing. Your shoulders and neck are soft, which means you're not hiking yourself all the way up. I want you to think about keeping your shoulders down. And let's take it back 2 more times. And now from here, the next one, I want you to hold it there. Now extend your arms, palms face each other, and you're just going to lift and lower your arms for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it all the way up. Let your arms come beside you. Again, your legs, if sitting with your legs extended is not comfortable, you can always open them out. So let's just start by a little bit of rotation here as you bring it. So spinal articulation and or rotation can be done. Obviously, I want you to stay within your range of motion. Now, one more time with your elbows bent, and then I'm going to take you into full arm version. So now, as you do this, I want you to rotate, bring it center, and then rotate again. Keep going and rotate. So your arms are like propellers. 2 more times. And now as you bring it back this time, I want you to separate your legs, keep your arms out. Now this is, I'm going to show you 2 different versions here. So this is called saw, and I know I've done this in previous videos. So just as a reminder, you can also keep your elbows bent, rotate, and then reach your arm. That back arm can stay bent, and then come up. Now if you're doing the full version, you're going to extend your arms straight out, you're going to rotate, and you're going to reach. So thumb is going to be up, and on the back hand, the pinky finger leads, so it rotates as it comes up. And I'm going to try and get my other hand, so that back hand rotates. So my thumb is up, so your arms are actually twisting as you're doing this. And again, so finding the version of this that speaks to your body, and not by, when I say it speaks to your body, I really want you to think about, it's important to listen to how the movement is making your body feel. From an internal to an external, from internal, how does it feel internally, emotionally? Because if you're pushing yourself to do something more than what you're ready for, emotionally it can cause you to be tense within your muscles, also tense within your breath. Okay, one more time on each side. So taking the time to really listen to what your body's saying, internally but also externally. And what I mean by that is externally, are you Are you breathing okay? As your upper third of your lungs, are you breathing? Diaphragmatic breathing, so you're breathing all the way down, or are you holding your breath? From here, I want you to just take one hand and place it on the floor. Your other arm, for the first 4, we're going to keep it behind our head. And you're just going to tip sideways and then bring it up. So think about the opening. There's little tiny muscles that connect our ribs here. And you're just going to take it over for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now extend your arm out. Palm is facing upward, and you're going to take it over, and I want you to pause and then bring that arm back. Now, if that doesn't feel good to have it fully extended, remember the version that I gave you before. You can always even just side bend with your arm down, because everybody's range of motion in their arms are going to be different. So listen to what your arms are telling you as well as your upper back. Keep going for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go ahead and bring the palm down. This time I want you to turn the palm up. Give yourself a little bit of space underneath your arm and your fingertips. This next one's called thread the needle. It's a variation that I like to use. And you're just gonna thread it under, and then you're gonna open that arm up. But I want you to look at the palm of your hand as you do this. Follow your palm with your eyes as you open it up. Can you take your range of motion a little bit deeper as you rotate, and follow it with your eyes. One more time. And now from here, just lay your hand down. So when we side bend, it's very calming for our nervous system. So you can do that standing or seated, just like what we've done here. And again, it can be something as very simple and gentle. It doesn't have to be exactly like what I'm doing, but side bending opens up the airways and the intercostal muscles. So it's little tiny muscles that connect the ribs, but it also opens up your lungs and allows you to breathe deeper. So let's bring your hand to the other side. And again, you're gonna pick the option that's best for this side. Palm is up, and take it over and then bring it back. But before I had your hand here, let's keep it behind your head to start, and take it for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now extend that arm and take it all the way over within your range of motion, and then bring it back for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, keep the palm up, and we're going to go into that thread the needle, but I want you to watch the palm of your hand as you pull it underneath you and then open it out. And keep going and breathing. So taking our eyes into the movement is another strategy that helps calm our nervous system down. So and I'm going to show you one more when we're done with this one. And let's open it 2 more times as you do this. Now from here, I just want you to let your hands rest on the tops of your thighs. Whether your legs are separated or they're a little bit closer together is a personal preference. So I want you to take your hands to the tops of your thighs, and I just want you to allow yourself to come forward. Now, if your shoulders are tight, maybe even bring your hands to the floor. So bringing the hands to the floor. If you're not, let your hands rest on your shins or on your thighs if you can't fold forward all the way, and that's fine. Now, from here, if your neck has tension, drop your chin down and just gently turn your head side to side here. Now, as you bring it up, notice my legs are still together. So if you're seated in a chair, Let your legs come a little bit closer together. And I want you to lift your arms up, and I want you to reach toward your toes. And I want you to think about a stretch here, not necessarily. So if you're seated in a chair, let your hands maybe come to your knees or to your thighs. If you're on the floor, just let them rest on something. But I want you to come forward, and I want you to round your upper back as you're doing this. And now as you inhale, come back up, soften through your shoulders. So try not to let your shoulders stay here. So again, lift those arms up and then bring them down. And again, your lifting is going to look a lot different than mine, and that's perfectly fine. One more time, lift it up and then lower it down. Now, the next exercise is called clamp. And I'm going to show you a version first if you're seated in a chair. The second version is going to be like on the floor. So if you're seated, bend your knees and you're going to allow yourself. So think about a clamp opening and closing. And if you've done physical therapy or you've done some other things, it's just going to open and then close. So I want you to think about rolling to the outsides of your feet if you're doing this seated in a chair. So really allowing that whole arch of your foot. So you're landing on the outside edges of your feet and then closing it up. Now, if you're going to join me on the floor, we're going to start with your knees. You're going to start with your knees bent. And I want you to think about now in this version, your feet are going to stay glued together. So you want to think about the arch, like your big toes and the heels of your feet are staying connected. And you're going to open and then close. And we're going to do 8 like this, and then we're going to add on some more here and open for 8, 7. Keep breathing. Okay, last 2. And now last 1. Now from here, fingertips are going to come behind your head. Your feet are still going to stay glued together, so we're going to layer on. I'm going to show you, and if this is too much, then you're going to go back to the first version that we did. So as you do this, I want you to start down. Your elbow is facing the floor. When you open, you're going to open and slightly rotate that head back. So you're going to look toward the ceiling and then rotate it down. So let your eyes follow the movement. So right now my eyes are downcast to the floor, and then I'm looking toward the ceiling as we move here. So what this does is it helps you to increase your range of motion when you get your eyes involved with the movement. Keep going. And don't move fast through these. Especially, you're going to feel these in muscles that probably it's been a while since you've used if you don't exercise on a regular basis. And next time, we're going to do one more after this. And now from here, I want you to just bring your hand down. Keep your feet still connected. This top leg, though, is going to just press back toward the wall behind you. And just so I'm going to say little tiny movements here. And press for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now lift that leg up. Keep the knee bent. You're going to take it back behind you, and you're going to flex your foot. So you're going to take the leg back, and it's just going to be, I always like to refer to this as like an open leg clamp. So you're just going to lift for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now extend your leg out. And I know you can't see my foot in the video, but you're going to pull your heel towards your glute. So extend it out and then draw that heel to your glute. And again, for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now I want you to extend your leg all the way out. You're going to see what my leg is going to do here. but you're gonna bring it in front of you and then pull it behind. Now, as you pull back, I want your leg to stay in alignment, or your foot to stay in alignment with your hip. Bring it forward and then draw it back for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now I want you to bring that leg forward. You're going to press it towards your hand and press for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your legs back together. We're going to come all the way up. Now I want you to take your top leg and just bring that foot in front of you, and that's going to release any of that tension in your outer hip. And now we're going to shift and we're going to go to the other side. So first reminder, here I want you to stack your legs and your feet are glued together. And all we're going to do is we're going to start by just opening and closing. So you might even find that it's easier on one side than the other, and that's perfectly normal. And as you open for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now bring that, now you can repeat the same thing. Bring your fingertips down. Now if you're gonna do this side, you remember that elbow comes down. And now you're gonna open it, but you're gonna look up toward the ceiling. When your elbow comes down, your eyes are gonna follow. And open for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release your arm down. Keep your leg open. Little tiny presses to the wall behind you. So think tiny movements. So in Pilates, a lot of times when we do other forms of exercise, we're using bigger muscles. In Pilates, we're using the smaller muscles or the supporting muscles that help us. So press that leg back for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now turn your leg, keep your foot flexed, take it back behind you slightly, slightly here. And now you're just gonna lift. And notice that it's not a great big lift. It's a smaller movement here. It's more concentrated. And lift for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now here we go. This is where you're gonna take that leg out and you're gonna bring that heel towards your hip for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, extend your legs, flex your foot, and you're gonna lift at shoulder height and then down. And lift for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep your foot flexed, pull it forward. Draw it back to that bottom foot for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Now on the next one, you're going to hold it forward here and you're going to press it towards your upper hand. Press 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull that leg all the way back. This time, roll onto your back. Now, if you're in a chair, I want you to let yourself be pushed all the way back so your hips are up against the back of the chair. Let your feet just rest on the floor. If you're in a chair, I want you to take a moment and soften through your shoulders. Let them relax. Take a couple of really nice big deep breaths in. So even if you're on the floor, you're doing the same thing. Use the floor to support your back and the upper portion of your back. So you're going to be supported. Your hips, your natural curvature of your spine is where you need to be here. Let your hands come down beside you. If you're in the chair, this is where you're staying. If you're on the floor and you're with me, we're going to lift our hips up toward the ceiling. However, I want you to think about, you're not all the way up. You're just going to be lowering yourself down. Sorry, I was off camera. So I want you to think about lifting, keeping your hips low, and then lower down. And again, lift, lower down with control slowly. So it's not about lifting high and moving really aggressively here. And again, keep lifting for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now lower down. Now if you're seated in the chair, bring your knee in so it's going to be in tabletop. And you're going to extend your leg as far as you can out in front of you. And then draw it in. So you can do anywhere from 4 to 8, maybe 10, depending on your flexibility and your own stamina here. And let's keep going for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now keep your leg bent. And now you're going to open it to the side. So think about all those clams that we did earlier. This is just another variation here. And open for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, I want you to extend that leg out in front of you. And you're going to see that my leg is not going to move very much. We're going to go into leg circles. So a leg circle, I want you to think about the size of a golf ball. So it's going to be a small movement here. And your range of motion is going to be slow and controlled. And circle for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold it there. And now you're going to reverse it and circle backwards or more internal here. And circle for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your foot down. Now, let's go to the other side. Now, I'm going to lower and extend my leg out because I want you to see my other leg. So you can keep this, if you're on your back, you can follow along. I'm just doing it so you can see it on the camera. So let's start with your leg lifted and everything's in alignment here. So you don't want your leg all the way drawn in. You want to think about hip and knee in alignment here. Point your toe and you're just going to press it out and then draw it in for 8. Last 3. Last 2, last 1. Now keep that leg and you're going to lift it up and then lower it down. 1 more time. Now lower it here. Now we're going to go into the leg circles here, circling outward for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause and reverse it. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your foot. Now this time, whether you're in the chair or you are on your back, feet are going to come to the floor. walk your feet out so they're a little bit further away from you. And I want you to allow your knees to just drift to the right. My feet are still connected to the floor though. And then draw them back through center. And then you're gonna shift it the other way. So think about, so my hip is lifting, and that's fine. Bring it back to center. 2 more times. Taking it one side, maybe pause for breath, bring it center, and then go to the other side. And now from here, so if you're seated, I want you to just draw one leg in toward your chest or wherever your range of motion is gonna be. And if you can bring the other one in because you're supported by the chair, and I want you to just rock gently or move yourself side to side, whether you're in a chair or on your mat. Just let yourself move fluidly. And how does it feel in your body? We're gonna rock side to side here one more time. When you come to one side, I want you to bring yourself up to a seated position. And again, your legs can be extended. I like mine crossed. And bring both hands to your knees. And as you come to your knees, or hands to your knees, I want you to think about when we started, we did that pelvic tilt, but we're gonna go into what I call a seated cat and cow. So using your hands on your knees as leverage, round that back, and now lift and just open through your chest. So rounding, so you're rounding even in that upper back portion here, and now lifting and opening. And let's just take it back for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Turn your head to the right and come center. Turn your head to the left. Bring it center. Now this time I want you to sit with your head looking toward the camera. So you're not going to move it. And I want you to let your eyes float to the right. So you're going to keep your eyes looking to the wall beside you, holding your eyes over there until you do one of 3 things. You swallow, you yawn, or you sigh. So for me, I always get the extra saliva in my mouth, which causes me to swallow. So now from here, I want you to keep it once again. I want you to look at the camera. Before you move your eyes to the other direction, I want you to refocus your eyes. Now let your eyes drift over. For me, it's the left. And now bring it back to center. And now I can hear you guys that doesn't work, Tammy. And I'm going to say to you, it's very calming for your nervous system, and it's something that's very easily accessible for you to do. If you're interested in more of doing just a nervous system regulation video, I can do that, but you got to tell me. So now bring your hands to your knees, and let's go into some abdominal circling. So now think about maybe you're stirring, I don't know, a batch of brownies, or you're doing things in your classroom with your kids and you're making big abdominal circles here. And again, circling is calming for the kids. It's calming for you. It's massaging your internal organs. One more time as you circle like this, and I want you to pause and then reverse it. And let's take it around 2 more times. Sit nice and tall. And let's bring one hand to a knee. Take your other hand, and I want you to bring it behind you wherever it's comfortable, but also I want to allow you to find yourself a slight twist here. Bring it back to center, and let's go to the other side. Bring it center. I want you to just pause, before you jump off, I want you to just pause and take a couple breaths in and out and allow yourself this time to find stillness within yourself. And I invite you to find stillness throughout your day, to breathe, use the eye movement, use any kind of movement that is calming for you. It might be rocking, it might be side bending.